I've learned after doing hundreds of business plans. Most business owners are working incredibly hard, but they're working on the wrong thing. They're busy, they're stressed out, they're putting in the hours, but they're not getting closer to their 5-year vision. Most business owners are struggling to pay the company bills, let alone pay themselves a fair salary for the hours they're working in the business. Now here's the truth. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Just like Tay-Tay said, one of my favorite artists in her song Mastermind. You get a lot of Tay-Tay from me. But it's true. If you don't plan, you're planning to fail, right? So I'm Hayley Hobson, and over the last decade, I've helped hundreds of business owners execute business plans that work. Not the kind of business plan that sits in your drawer collecting dust. These business plans are like your GPS. They take you on the direction you want to go. They take you closer to your utopia. And the businesses that stick to the business plan don't just survive, they actually thrive. Okay, so today I'm going to walk through the exact framework so your business has the GPS, it has the sat nav set to your dreams, your utopia. Okay, this isn't just theory, it really, really works. I've done over 100 business plans, and as long as you stay accountable and follow the plan, don't put it in the drawer and get dusty. It does work. So after following the business plan for 12 months, you should have more profits in your bank account, more revenue, more time off. Before we get started, I want to walk you through the framework. There's 2 chapters to this business plan. The first one being the permanent foundation section. So here you're going to look at things like your purpose, your ideal customer, your unique value, and your company's key characteristics, right? And the great thing about this section is it is permanent. So next year, when you go to do your business plan, because you do your business plan every 12 months, you will just have to read through this, maybe change the wording, but fundamentally nothing will change, right? This section is your permanent section, so you might want to give it a bit of extra time. Now, section 2, chapter 2, is your accountability section. This is really going to drive the results. This is where we get granular, measurable, and we make sure shit gets done. Okay, a bit of housekeeping before we start. I assume you know where the toilets are in your house or your office, but in all seriousness, I need you to be a glass half full. If you're a glass half empty and negative, this is not going to work, so do me a favor, don't bother doing it at all. Secondly, if I'm talking too fast or talking too slow, just speed me up in the settings to your required listening requirements. Alright, download the template in the description below. You'll need that template. You're going to populate it as we go, and once you're finished, you'll have your 2-page document, which will be your business plan for the next 12 months. What I recommend is you listen to each section, and then you pause me and you go complete the template and the tasks I've given you, and then you continue. Alright, that's it. It's as simple as that. Glass half full, let's crack on into it. It's going to be a game changer, especially section 2, where you become really accountable. So welcome to the business plan, chapter 1, part 1, your purpose. Fundamentally and arguably, your purpose is the most important part of your business and therefore your business plan too. So what's your company's purpose? I'll actually start with what your company's purpose is not. Sometimes it's easier to look at what it's not than what it is. Right, your company's purpose is not what you do for your customers. Your company's purpose is why you do what you do and therefore what problem you are solving for your customers. This is a classic Simon Sinek TED Talk. Start with why. So before you start any product or service within your business, you need to understand why you are doing it for your customer and what problem you are solving for your customer. Because as we all know, or as we should all know, customers buy solutions. Okay, so let's create your company's purpose. Okay, as I've said before, this chapter is permanent, so I want you to spend a decent amount of time on creating this because it's not going to change over time. You may change the wording, but the fundamental meaning
will not change unless you change your products or services or why you do what you do for your customer. So you might need to come back to this section. So this is to get the juices flowing. If you don't have enough time today, start writing down some ideas, but make sure you do this, but give it the time it needs. Okay, so what do we need to do to get to your purpose? You need to write one sentence, not two, not three, one sentence. And ideally 7 words or less. 5 is great, 5 is best, 8, no go. It needs to be something so memorable that your team, your customers, and even your competitors will remember it. Seth Godin refers to this as your smallest viable promise, what you stand for and who it is for. This sentence will basically become your elevator pitch when people ask you, what do you do? An example for you. Right, I am a chartered accountant and own a chartered accounting practice, right? And imagine if someone came up to me at a networking event and asked, what do you do? Imagine if I said to them, we are chartered accountants for small to medium-sized businesses. Do you know what the outcome of that networking event would be? The other person would make an excuse to leave, probably I need to go to the toilet, and they would never come back. Because who wants to talk to an accountant, right? They are boring by trade. But imagine if I said, when asked, what do? I replied, we empower businesses. This would not only stop the person needing the urge to have a massive we, but more importantly, this would get them engaged and asking more. They'd be intrigued with what does that actually mean? At which point you can explain what you do for clients, what problem you are solving for clients, why you're in business for your customers. But remember with sales, the key is to listen more and ask them, do they have this problem? Would this be a solution that would work for them? By having a clear purpose, your customers, when they go to refer you via word of mouth, they will clearly know how to explain what you do and what problem you have solved for them and how great you are. Same for employees. They will accurately explain what your company does and why it does what it does, and also what they should be doing every day. Okay, let's get back to your sentence. So like I said, one sentence, 7 words or less, 5 is best. Also, if you can include the words you and your in your sentence as it talks directly to your customer. Now this is your written sentence. So my firm is empowering your business to achieve more. But when I'm at a networking event, I leave out the your, right? Because when I'm talking to someone, they're not my client yet. So it's empowering businesses together. So you'll see you can just change the wording around, but the fundamental meaning is the same. Last point, but very, very, very important point to your sentence, be unique. You need to be unique and better than your competitors, or different to your competitors. Not better, different to your competitors. Now, one of my favorite movies, and I love this sentence, when I watched this movie, it just resonated with purpose for me, and it was the Wonka video. Now, the sentence I love is, close your eyes and count to 10. Make a wish and open them. Here's a store that's like no other. If it were, I wouldn't bother. Now, you need to be the same too. So you need to be unique and don't be like someone else. Because if you're going to be like someone else, don't bother. The only thing you've got to compete on is price. And if you're competing on price, the race to the bottom is not a race you want to win. Okay, one more example before you get going, and I love this one, and I love this company too, and it is Disney. To make you happy. How good is that? So simple, so memorable, so clear. Okay, so over to your purpose again. It is one sentence, less than 7 words, 5 is best. If you can use you and your, amazing, be unique. Okay, so how we go about this task is I recommend you write down a whole lot of words and then you start highlighting them and formulating a sentence, your elevator pitch. If you're struggling with this, trying to get the words and the juices flowing, sometimes it's easier to write what you don't do and why you don't do that for your customer. Sometimes when you write what you don't do, because it's easier to write don'ts, you get closer to what you do for your customer and why you do it. All right, everyone, welcome back from doing your purpose. Okay, now that you have your purpose, just before we start into the next part, that purpose should go everywhere on all your marketing assets, such as your email signature, your business cards, your website, everywhere. It's a short, concise sentence that's going to help your customers, your staff, and everyone promote you. So make sure it goes on all your marketing tools. Okay, next part is your ideal customer. In this part, we're trying to identify, well, not trying to identify, we are identifying who you are selling to. Now, like Taylor Swift said in her song Cardigan, a friend to all is a friend to none. As you get to know me, I love Tay. Now, this is the same in business, right? You cannot say your customers are everyone. A friend to all is a friend to none. A customer to everyone is a customer to no one. I think I got that right. If you think about it, us people are all so very different. So how can your customer be everyone? Because we are solving problems, and we as people don't all have the same problems. So mathematically, it is impossible for everyone to be your customer because we don't all have the same problems. Friend to none is a friend to all is a friend to none. Once you truly understand your customer's problems, how you solve them better and more uniquely than your competitors, you will never have to sell again. Because remember, people buy solutions. And how good is that? Knowing that you are actually solving a problem. You're not trying to sell ice to an Eskimo, just get revenue in the door. You're actually helping people solve their problems. So good. In the book, Building a Story Brand, Donna Miller says, make customers the hero. You're just the guide helping people solve their problems. And if you have that mindset, it solves so many marketing and sales issues that you have within your business. If you work out that you're the guide, they're the hero, you're solving the problem. So, to identify who your customer is, we need to create an avatar. So what is an avatar? We need to describe who that person is in detail, what problem they are facing, and how your product or service solves that problem. For an example, think about cars. Volvo sells to safety-conscious buyers. Ferrari sells to status buyers. They're not trying to sell to everyone. Ferrari, status-driven, Volvo, safety-conscious. Okay, so to do your ideal customer, I want you to get out a blank piece of paper first before you go to the template. Step one, I want you to describe who your customer is not. Sometimes it's easier, and I keep saying this, sometimes it's easier working out who you don't want to look after. It brings you closer to who your customer is, right? So that's step one. Step two, in a short paragraph, I want you to define your customer. So I want you to include things like age, gender, family, status, location, profession, education, interests. Now, interests being social media kind of interests and what they do if they go to the gym, the movies, all that kind of good stuff. So really start defining who your customer is. Step three, define the problem they are facing. Step four, on your piece of paper, explain how your product or service fixes their problem. Step five, list all your competitors and explain why you are different to them, why you are unique. Okay, so once you've done all that, take your sheet of paper and put a small paragraph within your template on who your ideal customer is. Your marketing team are gonna love that. They can hone in and make sure they've got clear messaging on the problem they're solving, who they're talking to. Happy days. You're not selling ice to Eskimo, you're actually adding value to this world, solving people's problems. All right, everyone, next up we have key characteristics, and I just love this topic. Okay, key characteristics, what are they? They are your personality of your company. Historically, they were called core values. And what you would find is you would have companies with 5 core values. And these core values would include things historically like, integrity, honesty, stuff like that, hygiene factors. Now, we now know Research has shown us that this doesn't work. So why didn't the old school way work? What you need to do is define your company's personality and don't put in things that are given. People should have honesty and integrity, so don't put in given things. Define your company's personality. By doing this, you're showing who you're compatible to work with, what type of customers you will get along with, and personalities that align for your customers and your staff. So you really want to focus on your personality trait so you know who you want to work with and who you want to employ. But most importantly, you should only have 3. Now 3 is a really important number. 5 doesn't work. Now, as discussed by Donna Miller and a lot of research, the human brain only remembers 3 things without memory tricks. And if you go to 4, we forget all of them. So let's work with what the human brain can remember. That's why it's really important to take out the nonsense such as integrity and honesty, because you only have 3 things to define your company's personality. So like I said before, your key characteristics need to be shown outwardly so you attract the right staff and the right customers. Finding the right customers that align to your company's personality will give you the following. Customers that promote you. Customers that introduce you to your friends because they get on with you. Customers that want to invest in your products and services because you are aligned. And best of all, customers you will be able to retain. And don't forget, like all the chapters before, I'm talking about personality traits that make you unique. Remember the Wonka video? There's no store like no other. If it were, here's a store like no other. If it were, I wouldn't bother. Uniqueness is key, always. Okay, as I said briefly before, you will use these personality traits when you hire someone as well. You want the person you're hiring to be aligned to the company's personality. I'll give you an example now. For my company, our 3 key characteristics are curious, challenging, connector. A bit more flavor around that. I need staff that are curious, going to understand the numbers, see how we can grow them, really dive in. I need staff that are going to be challenging as well. They're going to need to be able to challenge my customers to say, this is not working, we need to go in this direction, not just keep it as status quo because they can't handle any form of conflict. Connector, we're all about doing it together, not doing it alone. So can you see with my company's personalities how I would hire people, who I would want to work with, my customers, how it just is a beautiful picture of connecting my business with my customers and my staff. I employ the right people and I attract the right customers. Okay, so for this exercise, get out a piece of paper and write down all the personality traits of your customers, of your business. Write down all the personality traits of your business, all of them, even though I said you can only pick 3, and 3 is just because you want everyone to remember these and be able to repeat them, because these should go on your marketing tools as well. They should be on your walls and everywhere, and you want people to be able to say back what your personality is. Okay, so once you've got a massive list of your personality traits, take the top 3 that clearly define you, that are unique to you, and they are your 3 core values, not 5, not hygiene factors. I love this section. I can't wait to see the personality of your companies. Okay, so now we're back to your value proposition. Now you might find this similar to your purpose, but it isn't. It's different. It's where you're asking for the sale. And when you see the value proposition, it's not an elevator pitch. You couldn't read this at a networking event. It doesn't flow very easily. But this does go on your website. This is what converts browsers into buyers. If people don't instantly get why you're different, they will price shop you. Remember? The race to the bottom. You don't want to win that one. So what we want to do here is construct a clear sentence that really spells it out to your browsers. Now here's a sentence structure we'll use as an example. Because it's not your elevator pitch, I actually need to read it. I can't memorize this, but you're going to see it on the screen too. So I'm going to be reading this one. Okay, so the sentence. I, Who do you help? Who is your customer? To solve what problem? So that highlight the benefits to your customer. If you are looking for the solution and the benefit again, put that in there. Please call, take action, and you will get this benefit. We will solve this problem, right? So our value proposition, which I'm going to have to read because it's not my elevator pitch, I don't know it off by heart, is we help small to medium-sized businesses. So that's who our customer is, small to medium-sized businesses. Achieve more together, right? We're growing their business, but we're doing it together. We're keeping them connected. Remember my key characteristics and how this is all fitting in now, so that your business can grow to give you more financial, mental, and time freedom back into your life. That's the benefit they're going to get. If you're looking for group coaching, the togetherness, and more balance in your life, give us the call. Now, giving us the call is do it now. That is your call to action. Okay. So now to write your sentence, you've got the template of what you need to do. What I want you to do on a blank piece of paper first is write down these things. Write down, what do you offer that your competitor does not? That was 1. Number 2, write down why your customer should choose you over your competitor. Number 3, what makes you stand out from the rest? Number 4, what is your point of difference? Now this is a good one and it really helps. Can't remember what number, I think we're up to number 5. What problem have you solved recently that your customers haven't been able to find elsewhere? Okay, so once you've done all that, you've got the sentence structure now. Create a sentence in that structure, put it into your business template and share it with your marketing team. The other note that I'll say on this section here, once you understand the benefit that you're giving your customer, I also find it helps business owners feel justified making the sale because they have clearly defined that they're actually solving a problem and adding value to people's life. Again, not selling ice to Eskimos just trying to get dollars in the door. You're actually there with a purpose. Okay, so welcome to part 1 of chapter 2, your company's vision. So remember that piece of paper I got you to draw way back at the start? I want you to pull that out now, please. Now probably get a new piece of paper because if your ideas have changed, it just gets messy and I want you to eventually laminate these pieces of paper. So it reminds you visually, you can visually look at it of what your dreams are and what you're working towards. It just motivates you a lot more. Okay, so on your new sheet of paper, on the left-hand side again, put now and put the date at the top. And on the right-hand side, put 5 years time at the date at the top, right? We're just doing company now. Like when we started at the beginning, we were doing company and personal. This is just company. Now, really important, and I don't find anyone else that's ever done this, and it makes a massive difference to getting you from where you are now to where you want to be. You need to leave a space between now and year 5, please. Now you'll see an example on the screen of what I'm going to get you to do. I'm going to get you to put in year 1, so now is 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, right? So have a look at the screen now. I want you to have that on your piece of paper too. Okay, now I want you to rethink about your company business goals, right? They've got to be measurable. Don't forget that. Now, things that you might like to think about is 1, how many locations? 2, what revenue? 3, what net profits? Before shareholder salaries and dividends, what net profits? How many staff? Do you want to be B Corp? Sustainability, that kind of thing. How many shareholders? Now that's a doozy because sometimes when you're doing this plan, one of your shareholders doesn't want to be there in 5 years' time. Now that's going to take a bit of discussion on how you're going to plan around that. But remember, make it visual, make it real, because this is going to keep you motivated, actually having this picture of why you're doing what you're doing every day. Now, like I said before when I talked about does someone want to sell, if you've got business partners, you must be aligned. This business vision, you must agree it against every stakeholder that is relevant to this business plan. Now, like I said before, and here's the secret to the real success, and I've never seen other people do it before, you now need to put, so you've got now and you've got 5 years, you now need to put when those things are going to happen, your rainbows and unicorns in 5 years' time, you need to put which year they're going to happen in. Now, for an example, you might have put, now you've got 1 location. Year 5, you're going to have 5 locations. What I now need you to do is put in, when are you going to have 2? Which year are you going to have 2? Which year are you going to have 3? Which year are you going to have 4? And obviously you're going to have 5 in year 5, right? But you might not do it evenly. It might be a slow burn, it might be a quick burn, but you're going to be held accountable to these years. Another example, you might be making 100K net profits and you want to make 10 million, right? In year 5. So year 5 will have 10 million, year 1 will have 100K. You need to split in are you exponentially going to get to that 10 million, or are you going to do it evenly or a bit of a skew? What does it look like? Because we're holding you accountable in that when we do your budget. Now, why this is super important, right? Because it's a 5-year business plan. If you look at now compared to 5 years, you just keep kicking the can down the road. Oh, I'll get that second location in year 3. But once you're in year 3, you wanted 5. You've got a hell of a lot of locations to get. So you've got to be more accountable more frequently so you actually get your 5-year goals. Because otherwise you just have these dreams in 5 years' time, but you just keep kicking the can down the road. You need to focus year on year, every month, every quarter, every 90 days. You are focused from now on. That is how you grow from 200K to over $1 million. How you go from insolvent to solvent and paying yourself dividends. This is called smashing it out the park. So once you've got your sheet of paper that you're going to laminate, I want you just to bullet point in your template your goals. So such as 5 locations, $1 million in revenue, $1 million profits, whatever it is. But the thing that you're really going to keep you focused and motivated is that sheet of paper. But we're going to summarize them in the template as well. All right, so now you've got what your business will look like in 5 years' time, and you've diced them into years. How good is that too? Now we need to look at, what does your personal life look like in 5 years' time? So remember the sheet of paper which you've already got out that you started at the beginning. Have a look at that on your business piece of paper, because I want it to all be on one piece of paper that you're going to laminate. Now put in, now what does your personal life look like? And in 5 years' time, what does your personal life look like? And then do the same exercise. Dice those end goals into which year they are going to happen. Now, before you do this, remember that your business is there to serve your life, not the other way around. So when you're thinking about your goals, make sure you're getting your one best life, right? And when you're thinking about your goals, I want you to think about these kind of things for your personal life. How many hours do you want to work in the business? How much money do you really need? And that's why we do the 5-year plan now, and we dice it into years to make sure it is realistic, those dollars that are coming into your bank account. What does your job description look like? I find it really useful. Write down your utopia job description, and that might not come to fruition straight away, but put it down in stages. So you've got your ideal job description in year 5. Put down when each bit's going to happen to get you to that utopia job description. How much time off do you want? And this is one I particularly love. How many holidays do you want per year? Anyone that knows me, I love a good holiday. Now, why your personal vision is so important is it must match and marry together with your business vision, right? So you might actually need another sheet of paper if you're going to find that your personal and your business is out of sync. For an example, you might be wanting to, in year 1, reduce your number of hours from 40 to 20. But in your company vision, you had no increased staff. Who's going to do those 20 hours? You might need to rethink about your business plan or your personal goals to make sure they align. Because if you need 40 hours done and you're only doing 20, who's going to do the other 20? And you haven't put that you're going to increase your staff. And if you increase your staff, you're probably going to need to increase your profits or your revenue, to pay for those staff that you're now recruiting. See how I mean? Your personal and your business life have gotta be a marriage. A good one. Okay, now when you're comparing your business and your personal goals, you're just gonna focus on year one, because your personal life can change. All of a sudden your partner might get a job overseas and in 3 years time you're not actually going to be in the country, right? I still wanted to do 5 years personally because I think it is a good way to go. I want a house personally in 5 years time, so I need to be able to earn this amount of money, measurable, and so I need to earn this amount this year, gradually building it up. So that's what you need to do, the personal vision for 5 years, so you can work out if each year is actually achievable and is it getting closer to that 5-year vision. But when you compare it to the company, we're just going to look at year one, because as I say, your personal life could change dramatically. But if your personal life changes dramatically and you decide to move abroad, it doesn't mean the company vision needs to change. You would just, if you're going to sell your business, you could share your company vision with someone else, and that could actually increase the sale price of your business as well, because you've got a vision, and if they like that vision, they'll just take it on board with all their KPIs and accountabilities. So it's really going to help you sell your business and maybe get a bit more cash for your business. Okay, so long story short, you've got your 5 years for your business, the 5 years for you personally. It's diced into year by year. Make sure the first year of personal and business works. They are aligned. And if they aren't, you're going to have to keep rejigging until they are. If you've got business partners, you've got to make sure you all agree with your business plan, right? For the business. Okay, then once you've done that, you can have a beautiful piece of paper. You are going to laminate it, and it's a visual reference of why you get up every day and go to work. Why some days are still hard, but you still do it because you're getting to the rainbows and unicorns, a utopia at the end. You're also going to put your personal goals into the business plan, but I prefer to use the picture because it just really reminds me of why I do what I do, right? So put it in bullet points if it is mortgage-free house, whatever it is, put it into the template. Happy days. Okay everyone, now we're getting tactical. We're going to look at opportunities and vulnerabilities, but first up, opportunities, right? So what are your opportunities? They are your low-hanging fruit. Your quick, easy wins, but remember, easy wins that bring you closer to your 5-year goal. That is so important. I'll give you some examples of some easy wins. You might be a dentist and everyone around you, other dentist practice, only open Monday to Fridays during work hours. You decide to open the evening and in the weekend, so those people that earn a lot of money that are at work can come see you. That would be a low-hanging fruit. Another one, you might expand into an untapped region. Another low-hanging fruit for your business might be you're using out-of-date software. So if you improved your software, you might get massive efficiencies, which is going to improve your profits. It's not just about low-hanging fruit compared to your competitors. It's low-hanging fruit inside your business too. Another example, I'll give you one more. Within your business, you might not have great social media. So that could be a low-hanging fruit as well. All right, get out a big piece of blank paper and I want you to write down all these opportunities, all these low-hanging fruits. Now what I want you to do is I want you to highlight the top 5 low-hanging fruits. You can have more than 5 if you can outsource them. Now, tips for how to select the top 5. Focus on opportunities that are easy to implement. They're not going to take up all your resources and time. Are likely to generate traction, that low-hanging fruits that will get results. But most importantly, the results they will get bring you to your 5-year goal. That is so important. Okay, so once you've highlighted all your top 5 or more, if you're outsourcing opportunities, put them into the business template. Don't throw away this piece of paper. Keep it somewhere, and anything that's really easy to outsource, give it to someone else and get them to do it. But it's not part of your business plan. It just becomes part of that other person's job description, right? All right, we want to make sure we are focused on your 5-year goal, not just doing the stuff that's easy. Okay, now that you've looked at the opportunities, the easy wins, let's get into the vulnerabilities. And I like these better than the opportunities because generally they will drive your business closer to your 5-year goal. Now, I like to think about it as what would kill your business the fastest? And I didn't create that theory myself. It comes from Alex Hormozi. It's in the podcast, Identify Your Obstacles. And what Alex Hormozi talks about here is identifying the things that will kill your business the fastest. And if you think about it, if you can avoid everything that will kill your business the fastest, like the plague, by definition, you will never go out of business if you can avoid everything that will kill it. You will have an enduring business. How good. So that's why these are more important than opportunities, because this is looking at what could kill your business, right? Now, unlike opportunities, I find people focus, well, I don't find people, research shows that people focus on the easy wins because it makes them feel good, something they can tick off their to-do list, but it's not driving them to their 5-year goal. You need to tackle the hairy, ugly ones, more importantly, and first. So when you're thinking about what are the things that are going to kill your business the fastest, an example is you might need XX number of clients, 100 new clients to say, because you do not have enough revenue to pay your overheads or to pay yourself, and your existing clients, you can't charge them anymore. So you need a certain number of clients. And if you don't get that, you're going to go out of business. That needs to be put down then. So what I want you to do, get out a blank piece of paper and put everything down that could kill your business, everything. And now that you've done that exercise, I want you to pick out the top 3 that will kill your business the fastest. So you've got everything down, now rank them from most likely to kill to less likely to kill. Rank them, pick out the first 3 and put them in your template. You're only going to focus on 3 because these are hairy, big goals. So anything more than 3 will become overwhelming and you probably won't do any of it. Like opportunities, don't throw this piece of paper away. It is gold. If you can outsource some of them, do it. Once you've tackled these hairy 3 goals, which you might do in 90 days or 6 months, you need to pull this piece of paper out again and update your goals on your business plan. This is a living, breathing business plan that you look at every month. These goals aren't just yearly goals. You need to constantly update them. I'm getting quite excited here. So this is your opportunity sheet and your vulnerability sheet. Don't chuck it away. Keep it in the drawer for when you smash those goals out of the park and you need new ones. Move that trigger closer to your rainbows and unicorns. Alrighty everyone, we are up to goals. It is the last section of this template. Okay, this is your accountability section. This is getting shit done section. Now, because this section is quite structured and you have to fill in this space and this space, I am going to be reading off multiple screens here, okay? So if it looks like I'm reading, I am. Okay, so what I want you to do is take out your piece of paper which had your business and personal goals on it. You're just going to focus on the 1-year business goals. So in year 1, what do you want to achieve? Take out your opportunities and vulnerabilities as well. Have them down there. And now, get out your business plan template. You'll see in column 1, it is called 1-year goals, and there's only 5. If you have more than 5, you'll be overwhelmed and you won't do anything. But once you complete one goal, so just say one of your goals was $1 million in revenue in year 1. Maybe you get that in 6 months' time, and then you can take that off and put another one on. We are looking at these monthly. So like I said, column 1 is just putting down, pick 5 of your goals. They've got to be getting you to your 5-year plan the fastest, and also tackle those vulnerability ones that are gonna kill your business because you want them to be eroded. Okay, I'll use 2 examples. So you might have in column 1 that you're gonna have 1 extra location. Another one is you might have 1 million worth of revenue. Okay, then in the second column, which is your 90-day goal. So let's use 1 million worth of revenue. So in column 1, 1 million worth of revenue, 90-day goals. You're going to put, what do you need to do to get you closer to 1 million of revenue within 90 days? And it might be that you need 30 new clients. If you get 30 new clients, it's going to get you significantly closer to your 1-year goal. So put that in the 90-day goals, 30 new clients. In the third column, action required, what actions are required to get your 30 new clients? Now you have a sales team to call 200 prospective clients in number 1, action required. Action required number 2, directors to attend 24 networking events, 2 per week. So in action required in the next 90 days that they're going to turn up to 24 networking event, which is 2 per week. 1 social media paid ad per week. This is an example. Number 4, that might be enough, or you might have something else. So that's column 1, 2, and 3 done. Column 4 is who will deliver this? Who is the person? I want the person's name down there. So for our example, where we had number 1 was salesperson to call 200 clients, the sales manager might be Tina, and she might not be ringing all of them, but she's responsible to make sure her team is. So she's accountable that this is going to happen, and then in column 5 you're going to put the date, and you might go 31st of March 2026, right? She knows that she has to get her team calling 200 prospective clients by the 31st of March 2026. It is so granular, it's so measurable, it's so accountable. Number 2, it could be Haley and Steve and other directors, so they need to put in their diary all these networking events, and they need to do it now that they're going to go for. And that could be the 31st of March 2026. Then your social media paid ad would be your marketing team. It could be marketing limited because it's outsourced, but give it to them, give it to a specific person, tell them what you want and what date it must be achieved by. With column 5, the date it must be achieved by, some will be quicker than others, so they don't need to all be the same date. You will be taking this out every month end when you review your results and checking how these are tracking. Some might be completed, so add another one on. So your 90-day goals, so in the first month you probably haven't completed your 90-day goals, but some of your actions will be completed because one of them was only going to take 1 month to do. So keep updating it, keep replacing it. And then after 90 days, does that 90 days need to be refresh that goal? Is it another new 30 clients, or is it a completely different goal? We've got 30 new clients. What else do we need to do to get that $1 million of revenue, right? Okay, so this is staying accountable, staying on task, and making sure you smash those numbers out of the park.